Hi, lovely one. I want to take a minute to talk about something. Here on these platforms, the nervous system is a huge buzzword. It's gone mainstream, and most people have heard the term nervous system if you're a woman in midlife. And there's just endless amounts of information and accounts telling us how to do it, what to do, when to do it. There's a fix for all the things. Maybe it's the right diet that you're supposed to follow. Maybe it's the certain supplements that you're going to take. Maybe it's the miracle maker products or patches you're going to wear. And you really, really desire to be able to show up for yourself. And maybe you're like this person that swears that this year is going to be your year, but yet you found yourself with high hopes in January, and the book that you swore you were going to read is collecting dust. The diet that you were going to follow didn't quite work out. The gym membership, you almost signed up, but you didn't. It's just like so many broken promises that women like us make. However, we keep a lot of promises to everybody else. Like, we make sure that our husbands are pleased with us. We make sure that the children are taken care of. We make sure that the house is presentable when company comes. We make sure that we are recognized as a top employee in our department at work. We make sure that our marriage is healthy because our husband is pleased with us. We make sure of all of these things, and that costs us something. The question begs, why is it so easy to make sure that everyone else is taken care of except for us? Yeah. Well, I learned the answer to this question the hard way. So I thought I would share it because I'm hoping that by me sharing, maybe you won't have to learn it as hard as I did. You see, it cost me decades and decades of whispers of my body whispering to me, "Hi, I'm here. Do you see me?" My body was whispering on behalf of my heart, on behalf of my soul, saying, "I feel super forgotten. I feel like maybe I don't matter, but I should matter. So here is a symptom. Here is some pain. Here is some bloating," which eventually turned into chronic illness, chronic symptoms, and then midlife hits. And it just so happened that I was living in mold unknowingly for 7 years. It just so happened that my usual was to be like fried out on stress since a child. And so I burned through progesterone and estrogen, my supply, early. And so, here I am. I find myself, I had a lot of clues. Like in 2017, my adrenals were burnt out, and I was the holistic queen that everyone came to asking, like, what should I do for this? And I had stocks of supplements and was just full of joy to help others. But in 2017, I started getting sick. It turns out my immune system was shot. I had adrenal burnout, didn't know it at the time. And I got sick, and then I got sick again, and I got sick for like a month. I could not kick the cough. I got the flu more times that year than I had, that year and like 2 years later after that, for like that 3-year period, than I had gotten in my whole life put together. And so I just thought like I needed to amp up on my vitamins, my supplements, and was in complete denial that it had anything to do with the decisions that I made that constantly put myself on the back burner, and I told myself no and everyone else yes. I was, turns out, completely disconnected from myself, and it also turns out that I had a core belief that says, I don't matter. It was an unconscious belief. And fast forward, another rock bottom moment, 2021, I find myself in bed with hives head to toe, COVID jacked up to the nth degree. I got through the COVID, but then it turned into long haulers, so the COVID didn't go away. And it completely hijacked my nervous system, and I was not only laid up in bed for 2 weeks, after that, when I did get out of bed, I felt like I got hit by a Mack truck, and I couldn't even think. I didn't even know if I could make it to the kitchen to turn on the coffee pot without having a complete panic attack. Like, I felt like I had no control over my body. I was in a complete brain fog and had pain throughout my body. My stomach was so inflamed, it looked like I was 6 months pregnant. And it just so turns out that miraculously enough, right before I got sick, I had signed up with a personal development coach. And I'm telling you, it was like one of those things, like I had never spent that much money on coaching before, so it was a huge stretch for me. And I've actually spent way more money since then, but on coaching. But at that time, and I was super stressed out about it, but I now see that it was a complete godsend, because what happened was I was so freaking sick, so sick. And I had to cancel my coaching calls a few times, but then I needed to actually use the calls. So when I did make it to the call, I remember talking to the coach, and the coach was like, Elise, you are really, really sick. Like, you're not taking care of yourself. You're still, like, you're not even in your body. You are in still the stress of everything happening outside of you. And are you really taken seriously, like, what's happening to you? And I don't remember everything that was said, but as it was being said, in this moment, I came to the realization that everything and everybody mattered to me, mattered so deeply, except for myself. I didn't matter to me. I had a core belief that I didn't matter. And it was that core belief, that created everything else that I experienced in life. Unfulfilled relationships, resentment, feeling misunderstood, not appreciated, exhausted, stressed, wondering, when is someone going to see me? Like, everything that I give and do. And it was the belief that birthed every single symptom in my body, because it was actually my body symptoms that was a messenger on behalf of my heart, on behalf of my soul, saying, you do matter. Can you come back home? Can you get your priorities straight and see that you do matter? When you matter, then everything else will fall into place, and you won't have to try so hard. And it was then that I realized I was going to have to pick up the pieces of my life. And every decision that I made after that, I had to think, I matter. And that decision is what gave me strength to wake up and get my hydration in. It was that decision that stopped me in my tracks when I woke up in the morning and somebody needed me, and I had trained them to be so readily dependable, and I had trained them that I was available to give at the expense and cost of myself. And it was in those moments that I had to hold on to, wait a minute, I matter. And you know what? I could thank the brain fog that was present in that moment. Because without that brain fog, I might have forgotten that I mattered. Without the, I don't know, I couldn't get up and run to be at the rescue and tell everybody yes and tell myself no. Because I might not ever get better. I didn't know if I would ever get healthy. I didn't know if I would ever be able to call myself someone that's healthy. I didn't. Every day was a day that I would get to discover the unknown. And so it was in those moments when I wanted to fall back on my default of I don't matter that I had to remember I matter. And that is how I found the strength to prepare myself a meal. That is how I found the strength to say, I need to nourish my body. And I'm going to sit and I'm going to breathe and I'm going to feel my body in this chair before I eat so that my body can receive this nourishment because I matter. And so my prayer and hope is that in me sharing this story, that you would understand and get a revelation and question, do your actions communicate to your body that you matter? What if it'd be easy to remember to hydrate yourself if you mattered? Like, if you mattered, would it be easy to tend to your heart and give yourself time and freedom and space to read that book that you really want to read? If you mattered, would it be easier to say yes to yourself instead of saying no to you and yes to everyone else? That is my prayer. So I invite you to take a slow, deep breath. And when this video ends, give yourself a moment to really deliberate and to take inventory on your current circumstances and really ponder and question, do you believe that you matter? And if you believe that you mattered, how would the decisions that you make for yourself look different? That's what I want to leave with you. Be blessed.